Right, hello guys, welcome back. Hope we've all been enjoying Into the Light so far. Now, today we're going to be talking about Hammerhead. Now, specifically, we're going to be talking about 5 roles. So this one here with Rampage Killing Tally, another one with Rewind Rounds, another with Onslaught, another with Target Lock, and another with 4th times the charm. And we're also going to be comparing it to good old Commemoration just to see how things stack up against the previous best Void LMG. Also, before we kick things off, I just want to make a small note about the aesthetics of the weapon. Obviously, Hammerhead is the first Black Armory weapon that has been brought back as part of the Into the Light Brave arsenal. I was actually just kind of curious to see how New Age Black Armory looked on it, and as you can see, it is pretty nice. It's not quite the same as the original, but you know, it is pretty good. The red and the black looks lovely. And on top of that, one gripe that people have about the new Hammerhead is that it has a red dot sight, which, you know, a red dot is pretty clean, but it's not quite the same as the original. So if you want to get rid of that, you can actually use one of the old ornaments. Now, if you have Great White, if you apply it, it is also a pretty nice ornament, by the way, but if you go in game with it, you can see that it gives you back the old reticle, which is the red circle with the kind of things on the side. So it's pretty nice. Now, in terms of what we're going to be actually using today, the first role is going to be Rampage Killing Tally, the double damage perk combo, which is rarely seen on any other guns, mostly seen on the King's Fall weapons, and this is quite a sight to behold because Rampage is a 33% damage buff and Killing Tally at max stacks is a 30% damage buff. So when combined together, they actually result in a 73% overall damage buff to the base damage. Now, I'm using backup mag on this one, but you can obviously swap it out for whatever mod you want. I just like the bigger magazine size. Also, don't forget that it has the Indomitability origin trait, which gives you around 5% grenade energy per kill, which with a machine gun, you'll hopefully be getting lots of kills very rapidly, especially with this role. So enough of me talking, let me actually show you what it looks like. I have played with it a little bit already, but let me just show you guys. It is pretty nice. Okay, the wizard is gone. Let's go to town. See, it's insane. Obviously, the reloading is the main gripe. Once you get rid of the reload and kind of time your shots properly, yeah, we're just shredding through ads. Even these orange bars, they're absolutely getting cooked. It's pretty crazy. I mean, even from range versus the ogre, it's pretty nice. Yeah, we just completely cleared the room in such a short amount of time. And I love the Hammerhead model as well. It feels really nice to use. Okay, so if we just show a little more, you can see we're just absolutely shredding through the ads. No questions asked. Absolutely lovely. Okay, so up next, we're talking about rewind rounds. And the reason for that is because, as you just saw in the previous clip, reloading is a big problem with Hammerhead. Because unlike with Commemoration, you don't actually have a easy way of having the gun reload itself. So obviously with Commemoration, you have Reconstruction, which passively reloads your magazine over time. And the best alternative perk that Hammerhead can have is Rewind Rounds. And I'll explain why now. Now, how does this work? Well, I'm going to be assuming that the perk is enhanced. So I'll just do this in yellow. I'll write this as 0.7 and then in black, I'll do as 0.6. And you'll see what these numbers mean in just a moment. So the maximum magazine size you can get on the Hammerhead is 75. Now, the way that Rewind Rounds functions is that it will give you back 70% of your magazine size after you have fired a certain amount of that magazine. And that amount ends up being around 29%. So in order to work out how many bullets are actually going to be refunded, we have to do the original multiplied by 71%, which this value actually is 7125. The actual other value is 29.7%, or 28.7% should I say. So in order to get the total number of bullets that will actually be affected by the perk, we have this calculation here, and then we multiply that by 0.7 or 0.6 when it's non-enhanced, which is currently, but obviously in final shape this will be able to be enhanced. But this ends up being a extra 38 bullets that it will give us back for the second magazine. And if we keep doing this repeatedly, so for the first magazine it's 75, for the next one it's 38, for the one after that it will be 19, then 10, then 5, then 3, then 2, and then 1. And if you add all of these up together, you actually end up at a magazine size of 153, assuming you hit every shot and you never missed, which honestly isn't too bad considering that Reconstruction with a magazine size of 75 is exactly double. So it will give you 150. So Rewind Rounds is essentially the same as Reconstruction, but obviously the requirement to get to that maximum magazine size is slightly less convenient than it is with Reconstruction, and it also doesn't reload your weapon passively when you have it stowed, but it is still the same magazine size at the end of the day if you use it to its full extent. Now, on the topic of reload perks, technically 4th times the charm is a reload perk, and if you work it out, you actually end up getting 147 bullets with 4th times the charm, assuming you have a starting magazine size of 75, which if I just had backup mag on there with the extended mag, it goes to 75. But 4th times the charm is a bit of a situational damage perk. You're not going to be using this to its full extent if you're using the machine gun for ad clear, which is its intended purpose. Actually, Hammerhead does get the role of 4th times the charm target lock, which, as you all know, is the famous role from the retrofit escapade from a while ago. But because Hammerhead is a 450 RPM, I don't see it performing nearly as well as retrofit escapade did once in the past, because retrofit is a 900 RPM LMG. I am interested to see how much total damage it can get, but unfortunately I don't have that specific role at the moment. Okay, so that wraps up the reload perks. Now I want to show you guys Onslaught. Now Onslaught is a reprise perk that came out, I think it was this season, that increases the rate of fire of your weapon the more kills you get with it, and this stacks up to 3 times. Now obviously Hammerhead starts at around 450 RPM, and it honestly feels like the RPM doubles when you use this perk. So let me just show you what I mean. I actually got quite a nice combo of Feeding Frenzy with Onslaught, which means that when I have to reload, the reload is relatively fast. Okay, now we're fully reloaded, and let's see what we can do. Now we're up to the max fire rate. That is pretty nice. I can't lie, that feels pretty good. Let's get some more kills. Back up to the max RPM. Ooh, that is quite nice. That's quite nice. Keep in mind, this is a legendary campaign, guys, so the ads are going to be hitting harder and have more health in general. Yeah, it's weird hearing the Hammerhead firing so fast, but honestly, I kind of like it. You burn through ammo, but I think that is the ultimate purpose of this role, is to shred through as much ammo as possible and kill as many ads as possible as quickly as possible. Okay, so now I want to show you the true final form of this machine gun, and we're once again going to be using the Rampage Killing Tally combo, but this time we're going to be on a Void Gyrfalcon Hunter. Surprise, surprise. Now, obviously, because it's a Void LMG, it's going to pair very nicely with Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. Also, because we are on a Hunter, we have access to Marksman Dodge, which again solves the reload problem, preventing us from needing something like Rewind Rounds, and we'll be able to dodge and instantly reload our magazine. Alright, so that's enough of me talking. Let me show you guys what this actually does. Okay, now that the wizard is gone, let's go to town. We're gonna dodge, reload, and then everything else is going to have volatile on it, and we're going to create the loop and never stop. The damage is honestly insane. That ogre just got shredded. Same with the knights, absolutely bonkers. And look, we almost have our dodge energy back. Probably if I pick up that void breach there, yep, there we have it back, so I can dodge, get fully reloaded, pick up the next void breach, get some more class ability energy, and heading into the next group, you can expect very similar behavior. Every kill gives us healing, massive AoE explosions, and massive damage as well. Spawn the next wave, and repeat the cycle anew. Now, lastly, I also just wanted to compare it to Commemoration, the machine gun from the Deep Stone Crypt raid that a lot of people would consider as the best LMG in the game, at least before Hammerhead came out. Now, if I actually directly compare them, you can see the stats are very similar. The reason why this Hammerhead has more reload speed is because it doesn't have extended mag, whereas my Commemoration does. So yeah, very similar LMGs in terms of stats, and obviously very similar perks. They're the same archetype. So yeah, let me just quickly show you what Commemoration looks like. And obviously my role has extended mag. I'll just slap backup mag on because why not? And also we have Reconstruction and Killing Tally. So when Reconstruction is fully procced, we'll be able to go up to the maximum mag size of 150. So we never have to worry about reloading that much. So yeah, again, very similar performance. Obviously the damage is slightly lower because we only have Killing Tally, so it's going to melt enemies slightly slower. I think it just comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. Me personally, I'd rather use Hammerhead because I prefer the model and I like just having double damage perks. It's quite a cool thing to have. But again, against this group of ads, very similar behavior. Obviously we are on a Gyrfalcon Hunter, so that's going to be helping out a lot with it. But yeah, just down to personal preference if you like more damage or just more consistency. Okay, so one of the last perks I wanted to show is that it does get target lock. Like I mentioned before, it can get the retrofit role of 4th times the charm target lock. I unfortunately don't have it, but I still wanted to show you guys what target lock did. Now, target lock in its base form is a 40% damage buff when you sort of ramp it up to its max stacks, and I believe D2 Foundry says that overall across the length of the entire magazine, it is effectively around a 25% damage buff, assuming you don't miss. So let's just see what that kind of looks like on Carl. I'll give you a quick demonstration. So we'll just try and hit constant crits just to see how quickly we can kind of melt him. You see the damage does pick up towards the tail end of his health. You know, it's nothing crazy. You shouldn't really be using LMGs for damage, but you know, it is something. It is something. I will maybe try and test the retrofit roll when it comes out, but yeah, that's that for now. It does also end up getting surrounded as a damage perk, which when enhanced will be a lot more than it is now, but you know, surrounded is a very situational perk, and especially on an LMG, you're not going to be surrounded with an LMG most of the time, at least if you're not playing something like Onslaught, for example. It's a very situational perk, and I don't think it fits the LMG very well, so yeah, you can kind of give this one a pass. It does get get the new perk of Desperate Measures as well, which, you know, again, kind of situational. If you do get one with Rampage Desperate Measures, that's basically the same thing as having Rampage Killing Tally, because at its max stacks, Desperate Measures is also a 30% damage buff. It just takes a little bit of a winding route to get there. You know, you have to get 2 ability kills and then 1 weapon kill, and it does last longer than Killing Tally, I think, but yeah, kind of personal preference, situational type stuff. And finally, it does get Envious Assassin in the left column, which means you can overflow the magazine to triple its original. So if you started with 75, you could get it all the way to 225, which is pretty big. Though the thing is, you do need to use your other weapons to proc this, and while that does sound kind of easy, you would ideally want to be using your Hammerhead for the ad clear that you're doing. You don't want to be using your other weapons, like, I don't know, Recluse, Conditional Finality, to overflow this weapon and then swap to it to then do the ad clear with it. So yeah, it is a bit of an interesting pick. You can take it if you want, if you really want the massive magazine size, but personally, it's not the perk for me. Overall, I am quite happy with the release of this weapon. It's a classic that has been brought back, and you know, we can't complain. It's a very good machine gun, and it has some very good advantages over Commemoration, with it being that it has the capacity to shred ads far better than Commemoration ever did. However, the main drawback is the reloading aspect. You will have to lean into something like Rewind Rounds, and you could also pair that with Onslaught if you really wanted to go for the shredding angle while also keeping some of the reload sustainability perks. But yes, it does have the damage advantage. If you prefer a LMG like Commemoration that is better for passive play, that does some things for you in the background, then that's for you. But if you really don't mind reloading and just want to slay out with a double damage perk roll like this one, then Hammerhead is the perfect machine gun for you, as well as the fact that it's a Black Armory classic and it looks absolutely stunning. So yeah, that's going to be all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow when we go over Forbearance. So see you in the next one, guys. Take care. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Your support means the world. And if you're really into the content I create, consider becoming a member of the channel, which not only lets you support me in the best way possible, it also nets you a whole host of awesome perks along with it. A massive shout out to these members up on screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, dear viewer.